if I hear the footsteps down the hall, and I know someday that will be you leaving me for good. I've been sitting here for 2 straight hours watching you asleep, wishing I could talk to you. There's no denying we both have emotions running deep. Oh, if I could talk to you, 'cause I'm scared. 'Cause when I try to take your hand, you are not there. Even though I see the signs, you think I'm just scared. Give me one reason why I should hide my fears when it's killing me inside. You're not the girl.
Not the girl. Not the girl. By Dare Art Alade. Good music. Good afternoon, and welcome to a new episode on Healthy Today, a health education series brought to you by Health Innovate Plus, a social enterprise providing health education, health consultancy, and humanitarian services. And powered by Ivy Kane, your child education partner. I'm your host, Dr. Emeka Kanebi, a medical doctor and public health practitioner. Just to thank our listeners for joining us live last week and also on our other platforms. You matter to us. If you missed previous episodes, not to worry. You can listen, share, and download on Spotify and on other platforms. Just get on the app and search Healthy Today, or better still, just use the link on our Instagram bio. Please follow us on Instagram and threads at Health Innovate Plus. Great. It's episode 7 on our new season. Wow, episode 7. And we will be talking about this or that. So let's jump in. So, today, as you may have guessed from our episode trailer, we would be having the first installment on our Food Diaries. Everywhere you turn on social media, among colleagues, in the newspapers, and other platforms, there are talks on food. Everybody's talking about food. What to eat, what not to eat, healthier options, and the likes. On Healthy Today, you can trust us to provide the best information in its simplest form. Hmm, do we live to eat, or do we eat to live? Whilst you're thinking about that question today, we will discuss this or that with a focus on the carbs. Okay, those are the carbohydrates. Okay, so who is ready for some illumination? Let's go. So, what is food? I know we all have our thoughts on what food is. Okay, so I'm just going to simplify this. So, food is any substance that is consumed by a human being to support nutrition. All right? Any substance that a human being consumes, all right, to support their nutrition is food. In essence, the primary objective of eating and food is to allow for continued growth, for repair of the body, and to support vital processes, as well as provide energy for the one who eats it. So, when we remember this, we will begin to look at food a bit differently and perhaps abuse it less. I said it, abuse it less, or perhaps never abuse it. To achieve this objective of food, there are different food types, food classes, as you may know, and these are required um, as essential to ensuring the person is healthy. All right. So, what are the food classes? This most of us can mention in a heartbeat. There's six, or some people say seven, of the food classes. All right. You have your carbohydrates, which I'll be focusing on today, proteins, okay, fats and oil, mineral salts, vitamins, and some people talk about the dietary fiber, and the good old water. Yes, water is food. So, but with the world seeking better classification, some organizations like the World Health Organization and the Food and Agricultural Organization, they actually describe 19 different food groups. I'm not going to go into that, okay? They're just somewhere subsumed amongst the classes. But today, we will focus on the food class called carbohydrates, or carbs for short. So, what are carbohydrates? Okay. These are one of the most feared food classes today, but hopefully, after today, the story will be different. So, carbs are one of the three main food classes with proteins and fats. Okay, so you have carbs, proteins, and fats. They are the most, they're the main food groups, and this is because they give energy. All right. In its simplest form, it is sugar. Yes, glucose. Aha, the dreaded sugar, right? And just to maybe make it a little more complex, it is your main source of energy for all the cells in your body. So, carbohydrates serve many functions. They have functions in immunity, they have functions in reproduction, yes. They even form parts of your DNA. Hmm, amazing, isn't it? And then, of course, energy. So, when we eat carbohydrates, our bodies essentially just break everything down to its simplest form, which are sugars. And it is either used immediately by the cells for energy, or it is stored to be mobilized at another time for use. So, let's move to the types of carbohydrates. This is the exciting part for me, right? The three main types of carbohydrates are sugars, sugar again, right? Starches, okay, the starch. And then fibers, right? Fibers. So carbohydrates are found majorly in plants and dairy products, okay? And in dairy products, they are seen more as the milk sugars. Aha. Somebody is like, oh my goodness, I didn't know my milk had some carbs. Well, it does. Sorry to let you know that. Okay, so you get your fiber. So, I talked about the three types of carbs, which are the sugars, the starches, and then the fibers. So, you get your fiber mostly from, from your fruits, your nuts, okay? Beans. Oh my God, I just shook some tables. Yes, beans. It is majorly a carbohydrate, oh, okay, and less of a protein because some of you just feel that when you eat rice and beans, then you're having carbs and proteins, but no. Or you're told to dial back on your carbohydrate intake and then you now double up on your beans, thinking that you're eating more. No, that is also a high, rich source of carbohydrate beans. And then you have, but also the advantage of that is that it's also a rich source of fiber, which is very good for your digestive tract because this helps you to. Um, the thing with the fibers is that they're not easily digestible, so it helps with your bowel movement. It also gives bulk to your waste product, your stool, your poo poo, as we say it here in Nigeria. Okay, it just gives it a little more bulk and allows for the easy passage of of waste down your intestine. So very good class. So you can see we're already seeing the advantages of the carbs, right? And then you have the whole grains. They also contribute a lot to your fiber. All right, I'll talk about the whole grains later. You get your sugars from natural sources. All right, remember I talked about fibers, sugars, and starches. Your sugars, you get them from natural sources, such as your dairy products, like your milk. All right, and then added sugars, what you see people, the sugar that is added in sweets, in your snacks, right? You see all those donuts, and then they put all the sugar on top of it. Yes, that's how you get your sugars. And then you get your starches in potatoes, right? Potatoes, rice. Oh my God. And wheat. Okay, that's where you get your starches. Your starches are a little more complex carbohydrates. So those take a lot more time to be broken down. And then when they're digested more slowly. Okay, which is good because then you don't have a lot of sugar going into your blood immediately. So you know the usual examples of foods that have high carbohydrates. I've mentioned some of them, but just to be explicit, rice. I know you know that. Bread. Some of you are bread lovers. There's so much carbohydrates in bread. Pasta, okay? That's your spaghetti, your macaroni, noodles. I'm not going to call any brand, but you know all the brands of noodles, right? Cereals, fruits, milk. I know milk is coming up as a carbohydrate. I know you have all your milk sugars. Lactose is in milk. Yogurt has a lot of fat, okay? Beans, you remember the beans? Peas, your juices. So some of you go and you buy your store-bought juices from the store. I don't want to call any brands, but they even tell you no added sugar, but there's sugar, there's carbohydrates, there high source, rich source of carbohydrates, and then soda. You know it. I'm not going to call any brands, but your fizzy drinks all have carbohydrates, high sources, and potatoes, etc. All right, your yams, okay, all have carbohydrates. I'm sure you all didn't know these are carbs. Some of you knew that, but they all are carbs. So, fact is, so I'm not saying all of this so that you think that, oh, the carbs are evil or all of that. Remember now that the carbs, you need them. You need the carbs. Your body needs it in large amounts, right? So, if I'm looking at your meal in a day, 60%, 45 to 60% of your meal should be carbohydrates. So, you do need them. Okay, so um, but this, your need for them will differ. And this is based on how active you are. So, for example, an athlete or a mechanic or I'm thinking a laborer, for example, will need more carbohydrates because they need the energy for the work they do, all right? And they're very active. The way your body handles sugar. So, for example, the diabetics, they don't handle sugar very well. So they won't need as much carbohydrates as somebody else who's not diabetic and can handle sugar a little more or a little better. Your body weight, all right? So for some people, the heavier they are, their nutritional requirements are even more. So they can't even dial back, all right? Or for example, somebody is so grossly underweight, they would need the energy foods to put on some weight because believe it or not, there are people we want to put on some weight because of their dangerous underweight levels. So the issue with carbs, it's not necessarily the fact that they are carbohydrates. The issue is that the way people eat them, okay? They usually there's abuse involved in terms of quantity and then the choice. All right? They go for the less healthful ones, which are often preferred, and I'll explain why, to the healthier options. All right? The the ones which are less healthful seem to be nicer, sweeter, easier to prepare into other meals, and have less trouble, especially with preparation. All right? And that's the challenge, okay? So the daily battle you have to face, I have to face, is with either this or that. Hmm. So instead of this, the processed, the refined sugars, okay, they've had all those things that should actually be helpful taking out of them. All right, so you see all those milling when they mill rice, they mill oats, they grind these things, they remove the things that are actually helpful, the things that are healthful, the healthy things from it, so that it is finer. Some of you don't want your rice not to have anything, you want it to be so clean. What happens is they remove the bran, all right? They remove the fiber and all the major nutrients to give you that smooth flour you usually like, okay? So, examples of these of this that are these refined and processed, which are the less healthful ones, are processed white rice. You see all of them in the market. White flour. Snacks. All of you snackers, okay? Soda, store-bought juices, white bread, pizza dough. Some of you, in fact, you want the crust thicker. You say the thicker the crust, the better. Pasta. All right? These are all processed and refined sugars. The issues with these is that once you eat them, they get easily digested by your blood, by your body, and they move quickly into the blood, increasing your blood sugar too quickly. All right, and that's bad because then you have a lot of sugar in your blood. Now, if you are fine and your body, you're not diabetic, and your body can handle sugars properly, what happens is that in a very short time, because the sugars go up sharply, your body decides to release insulin, which is supposed to bring the sugar down. And sometimes it brings the sugar really down, and then momentarily, you start feeling hungry. And some of you now go and eat again. But what has happened is that you've risen your sugar too high that your body was afraid and brought it again too low. And so you get the hunger pangs much quicker than you should, causing you to eat even more often. And that's the cycle. That's the weight adding cycle that you're all complaining about. So instead of this, let's go for that. All right? Instead of this, let's go for that. And what are the that's in this on this episode? The unrefined, the unprocessed substitutes. Nothing from these have been removed. All right? So you have, and I'm coming again to it, the whole grains. That is why those grains are called whole, because the bran, the fiber, the nutrients have not been removed from them. You have your oats. So you can see oats are very rough. You can see oats are very gritty. They're very, wholesome to say, okay? Your whole wheat, for example, all right? Beans, vegetables, fruits, okay? Your nuts and seeds, brown rice, okay? And other foods that are made with whole grains. Your corn. Some of you take advantage of the foods that are in season. For example, corn is now in season. It's very rich. It has fiber. It's not processed. It has everything in it, and it's quite nutritious, right? Potatoes. Potatoes are also very good because remember I talked about them. They're starches, so they don't get digested too quickly and they don't raise your blood sugar too high. All right. So that's very important. So, a diet without carbs is not a balanced diet and can lead to a myriad of problems. So, what do? Replace. Instead of your current this, go for the that. Slowly but surely replace the bad. Replace the bad. Replace your less healthful carbs with the healthier options. Okay? Yes, you can. Be intentional. Be deliberate. Instead of soda, go for fruits and vegetables. Instead of white rice, go for brown. Okay? But if you can't just reduce your quantity, reduce it to the barest minimum. If you must go with white rice, go for oats. And these are so easily available and affordable. Instead of white flour, all right, go for other options, okay, like your brown flour or other flours like chickpea flour. I know some of you don't like it. I once made a cake with chickpea flour. I promise you it didn't go so well, but just a fun memory I remembered right there. Okay, so but go for other flours instead of white flour. Wheat bread instead of white bread. And that's available now in the market, in the stores. Go for millet. Eat corn. It's better for you, okay? I know you want to lose weight, but remember that your weight gain or your stagnancy in weight loss is not solely dependent on carbs in your diet. You must look at your overall health, your exercising, your stress level, some health disorders that cause weight gain, all right? And your overall calorie intake versus what you're expending. Very important. It's that balance that helps you attain your optimum weight. So don't wait. No pun intended. Okay, so don't wait. Get started today. Take that step to choosing healthier options of carbohydrates today. Awesome. That's all I have for you today on this or that unhealthy today. Thank you for listening in. So, our medical word of the week, okay, our medical word is glucose. Glucose. That's GLUCOSE. GLUCOSE. And glucose comes from the Greek word, I know you guessed it, sweet. It's a type of sugar you get from foods you eat. It is the simplest form of carbohydrates, and your body uses it for energy. So great. Let us vibe to glucose.
If you ask
Ah,
me, now who I
ah.
go ask?
Come
No matter
on.
where we see, so
I like this
you
one.
tell us that.
Come on.
No be me go talk,
Yes.
it heavy for mouth.
Yeah.
If you ask me, no matter for
Don't
ground.
ask me.
Now who I go ask?
Let's go.
If you ask me,
I need you to move from
now who
side
I
to
go
side. Come
ask? No
on.
matter where we see, so
Yes.
you tell us
Until
that.
it starts.
No be me go
I'm not
talk,
gonna tell
it
you.
heavy for
It's
mouth.
so
If you
heavy.
ask
Come
me,
on.
no matter for ground.
Hey, now
Now
who
who
I
I
go
go
ask?
ask?
So that was If You Ask Me by Omaumi. If you want to listen to this for an extended period, please get it on Spotify, and you can enjoy your good music, dance and vibe. Stay active, remember. Great. So my doctor's orders for a healthier you, replace less healthful carbohydrates with healthier alternatives. For a healthier you, replace, and that's my doctor's orders, replace less healthful carbohydrates with healthier alternatives. Start today. Okay. We have a new segment on the show. It is called, I love that sound. It's called Dr. Emeka's Motivation for the Week. Here we say it as we feel it directly and honestly. So here goes. So, all through the week, I just kept getting a prompt. Okay, it was just on my mind to do better with giving to others. As I introspected, it was a proven fact that I was more fulfilled when I gave to others of myself, of my resources, etc. So here goes my motivation for the week: save less, give more. Save less, give more. I know it sounds counterintuitive, especially in today's world, but remember, here we say it as we feel it. We say it the way it is. Save less and give more. I hope that helps somebody. Great. So let me say a quick prayer for you. Dear Lord, thank you for everyone listening on this broadcast now, and thank you for life and health. Thank you for speaking into existence food plants and fruit trees of various kinds and giving me access to all of these for my nourishment. We pray that you give us the strength and grace to replace unhealthy carbohydrates with more healthful choices. Help us to make healthier choices so we can enjoy a healthy life today. In Jesus' name, amen. We have come to the end of this episode, and I hope it has been educative and fun for you, as it has been for me. Remember to follow us on Instagram and Threads at Health Innovate Plus, and send us a message if you have any questions for me. Listen, download, and share this and previous episodes on Spotify and other platforms. Tell a human. See you same time next week. You don't want to miss next week. You don't want to miss our next episode because it will be Our season finale. You know what they say about season finales. Oh, what did they say? Thank you for always joining. So let's vibe as we go. Thank you. Yes. Uh, Come on. Yes. I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you. Yes.